Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to Darren After the Credits, number 43. Today, joining me for today's very special episode, I have good friends of mine. Darth Bunyan is here. How's it going, Darth Bunyan?
It's going well. How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very good. And returning to the channel after a somewhat hiatus, it's Toxic Taz.
How's it going, buddy? Doing well. Glad to be here for such a special occasion.
The return of Superman and Lois. Yes. I was very excited. so yeah, okay. There's a bit of like backstory I do want to tell very quickly before we kind of jump into today's shows, because obviously if you've been around the channel for a while, Taz was our co-host over on the Pipeline. And like a bit of history with Darren After the Credits, like the Pipeline, like what Darren After Credits is now is basically what the Pipeline was back then. Like we would just kind of come around every week, talk about Super Lois and Gotham Knights and what was on at the time, Secret Invasion, I think, and all those things. And then you kind of went off to do your separate thing. You were like,
yes.
I got my career jumping off. I'm going to step away from the show. And I was like, that's totally okay. And my plan was just kind of continue with various other guests. But the problem with that was it was hard to book guests that were watching all the shows at the time that were like, yes, I'm watching Loki every week. I'm watching Secret Invasion or, Gen V or whatever that was. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do a separate show that just focuses on the TV side of things. And very quickly, Darth was like, hey, I'd like to be a part of that. And actually, I don't know if there was ever an official conversation there. I think you just kind of stuck around. You're like, oh, I'll just that too. So, very much appreciate Darth kind of coming to my rescue. And we've been having a lot of fun over the last year and a half at this point. And we've been doing this almost a year now, I guess, huh?
Wow, that's long.
When did we start, Darth? I think it was Loki. I think it was the Loki season 1, episode 1. So it's been about a year.
Wow.
So
that's crazy. Wow. And I'm just that guy at the party that doesn't know when to leave, just outstays my welcome.
Oh no, I now see that we have the entirety of Party Nation in our comment section right now. I should have known this was going to happen.
Hello, Party Nation.
Hello.
I'm sorry I wasn't there today. I'm sorry. I was getting set up for this one.
Shout out to Lance as he hit 100 episodes of Party Nation. So shout out to him.
That's awesome.
Congrats, Lance.
Congrats. I hope you just streamed the entire episode over on Party Nation, Lance. I hope that you spend your 100th episode just watching us. That'd be funny.
Streamception.
Hello, here's Journey. Hello. Hope everyone's doing well. But no, like this is a huge week in terms of like Super Lois is obviously a show I think we all resonate very near and dear to our hearts. Like that's a show that has everyone been watching since like episode 1 aired? Like what's kind of our history with like Super Lois?
Yeah. I mean, day one. Literally when we got the, I guess, reference after Crisis that this was going to be the show, and once we got it confirmed, I was so excited for it. And from those first trailers, everybody was always like, hey, it looks like movie quality. Like it is very obvious that it has that additional budget and everything like that. And just from season 1 onwards, the show was special. It kind of stood apart from the rest of the Arrowverse, and it's crazy to see that this is kind of the last standing pillar of the previous kind of reign that that DC had on the CW.
I remember back when that aired. It was such an interesting time for the Arrowverse as well, because it's like we were coming off of post-Crisis. There's kind of we didn't, obviously COVID was going around, coming out of Crisis. We didn't quite know what the future of everything was. Like, we weren't sure about, like, Green Arrow and the Canary. Some other spin-off stuff was starting to come out to light. Maybe some of them were happening, some were. And I remember that premiere episode was one of the coolest experiences for me, just as a fan, because it's like, we kind of know what to expect in terms of we kind of know what to expect in terms of what a CW show can offer and kind of what we can expect from that. But that blew everything away. We're like, you can do that on the CW. Like a show can have that level of quality, can have that level of pristine. But yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. Please play Lance's stream. He's watching you right now. Oh my god, I don't know if we should.
A stream, watching 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 a stream.
That's holy.
You know what? Screw it. Oh no, I'm scared.
For the giggles.
Hold on, Party Nation. Hold on. Jimmy's watching you right now. Oh my god, I don't know if it's good.
Wow.
Oh, no more shit.
That's holy.
Let's play this shit.
You know what?
Yeah.
This is good. This is fun.
The giggles.
Okay, wait. I'm getting a headache.
Yeah, try to have a conversation like that where they're on delay and we're on delay and.
I'm hearing two different voices in my ear, like my own voice times two. Good lord. Shout out to Lance. Thank you for amusing us. Now you can take our stream off, Lance, and enjoy your own time. But no, we're gonna be jumping into today's episode. I know not everyone has a lot of time here today, so we're gonna zoom through some episodes of television. Starting. Let's just start. Yeah, you know what? Let's start with the Penguin. Let's change it up this week and start with the Penguin.
Okay.
Since everyone here, I think, has seen the Penguin.
Yes.
Taz, let's start with you since you
Okay.
haven't been on in the past. If this is kind of your first Penguin week or whatever, what's your kind of thoughts on the Penguin so far? These first three.
Okay, so yeah, after the first 3 episodes, going into it, it's weird. Like I wasn't very hyped for it whatsoever. Like I loved the Batman and everything, but I was like, oh, Penguin show, kind of set post Batman. It'll be whatever. Like I kind of stayed away from the marketing and everything, so like I knew it was kind of going to be this like crime boss kind of Sopranos-esque show, and it looked fun. I was like, oh, I'll watch it. I was kind of thinking maybe I'd watch it when it all dropped, but you know, I watched the first episode and then I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like we were talking about the, you know, quality that Superman and Lois brought, you know, to the CW, which was like a streaming show on a network television you know, format, but this is literally a movie split up into episodes. Like if you went straight from watching the Batman into watching the Penguin, like cinematography wise, you know, angles, lighting, you know, script wise and everything like that, it feels just like a direct continuation, as if somebody, you know, crammed all these episodes into a movie. It would be the Batman 1.5, and it really gives a new perspective on this version of the Penguin. I mean, going into it, I was like, oh, my favorite version of the Penguin had always been the Gotham Penguin for a lot of reasons. Partially because I did actually get to meet him in real life, which was really cool. But cool. That's a story for another day. But you know, the Gotham Penguin was my favorite Penguin, and I was like, oh, you know, Colin Farrell Penguin, he looks cool. Like, you know, the prosthetics and, you know, the makeup and everything is really, you know, a testament to how good they can make things look. But getting that extra, you know, depth and background on this character, and they kind of make him into somewhat of a sympathetic character in a way. It's like anti-hero Penguin. Yeah, I mean, you know, he's doing some bad stuff, but you kind of want to root for him.
No, fully. Like, that's something we've talked about in the past, is how weirdly likable the Penguin is, how scary likable the Penguin is that they've done with him. And it's just like, yeah, he's a bad guy, but is he really like that bad of a guy? Like, he's just trying to make a name for himself and grow up there. And, you know, I was very concerned going in because it's like, this looks good, but it didn't typically look like the type of show I would be watching. I would, you know, this like Sopranos type show. That's not typically what I am watching. That's not typically the, you know, whatever. But no, I've loved it. And this was episode 3, right? Was this only episode 3?
Yeah, it's episode 3. Yeah.
Good lord, what they've done in 3 episodes. It feels like it's been a whole
so
season.
Much has happened. Oh, it's because every episode has been like an hour.
An hour
plus.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Disney Plus, take stock of this. I don't want 39-minute episodes of The Mandalorian anymore. Like, come on, I want full on, you know, an hour of TV.
but it hasn't dragged either, because you can have hour-long shows that just do not fill up the space.
Yeah.
And even in its low moments, it is keeping you drawn in with how rich and engaging all of the characters are. And I love that. It's massively important. They've just handled their business so well.
It's very much so. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it in our episode, Darth, but like, I think I like the show more than the Batman at the moment, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm more... And I think by the end that will make sense, because we'll have, 10 hours worth of, or 8 hours worth of Penguin at that point? Like, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like, I don't know, it's a more entertaining show. It's a more kind of fresh feeling... I don't know, I'm engaged through the entirety of Penguin. Where Batman was good, I did think there were some parts I'm like, okay, this is a little dry. This could get sped up a little bit. Its pacing, I thought, was like, this is great, but it's like we could be moving it along a little bit. But episode 3, Darth, I mean, what was your kind of overall opinion on episode 3 of Penguin?
Just, wow, insanely good. I couldn't believe it. Like we were talking before, the vulnerability that the Penguin shows just draws you in. Like how hurt he was at the idea of Victor wanting to leave. And then, like, showing him, oh, this is what I've been offering, but like this is how you feel. This is what it like you reducing everything to. You could have left any time, and he could have. You know what I mean? But obviously, you see the other side of it, and you're like, I would have done the same thing. I don't know if I would have left, because I think the guy's going to hunt me and everybody I care for down. You know, and seeing, but everybody knew Victor was going to stay. Do you know what I mean? But seeing him go through that and then decide to choose to stay. I'm very interested to see where we go with that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's already kicked off with a murder. So we can only go up.
I mean, this is an episode I think I needed for Victor, because I think Victor's been my favorite character thus far. You know, I really talked about last week and like how I really related to his stuttering thing, because I'm someone who often has a stutter. Like that really hit home for me. They only continue to do that this week. Like there's that scene that you're talking about, Darth, where you're like, let him finish, and like the Penguin was like, yeah, no, let the damn kid finish his sentence. Like fuck off. Like I thought that was a nice little thing. But I think we've really needed to see Victor's POV through this world. Like so far, it's continuously been through the Penguin's eyes, and we got to shift the lens to Victor a little bit. Like the opening bit with Victor's parents being blatantly murdered in front of him. Like he would have been there if he would have listened to his parents, and because he didn't disobey because he disobeyed them, they're now dead. And I wonder if that's going to be a parallel to his life, where it's like going against his father's orders, going against his parents' wills, is maybe what keeps him alive or keeps him successful. Like I wonder if that's going to be like a parallel that we dive into this season. What about you, Taz? How you kind of feeling about episode 3?
Oh, I loved it. I think I got pretty much everything that I wanted from this. Is we got more of the dynamic of Oswald and Sophia Falcone. And I think that was great, is kind of that partnership there. Is Oswald, he was kind of like, you know, trying to sneak his way in, and he's doing his little, you know, shady stuff the entire time, is, you know, playing all sides of the conflict there to finally kind of get placed where he wants to be as kind of like her right hand in a way. So that I'm assuming eventually he's trying to become the, you know, the kingpin of Gotham, so to speak. Like, I think that, again, this is just another step in his plan to fully take over. Like, he's said it from the beginning, is like he started with nothing, which very much so parallels Victor. Is, you know, they come into this life of crime, you know, not really knowing anything, just trying to get by, trying to make some money, trying to find, you know, a place within Gotham City, within its underworld, so to speak. But, you know, slowly over time, you know, making connections, doing odd jobs. You know, I liked the idea that, you know, he was Sophia's driver at a time, just like Victor is, you know, his driver now, and, you know, how that kind of evolved over time, and now they're kind of, you know, equals in a sense. And again, I think that it really shows that there's more. They have more alike than you might think on the surface. Both, Penguin and now Victor, and that he kind of came back and is like, all right, no, I'm in it. Like I could have gotten out, but no, I'm here to stay. And I think he had some really good moments too, like when he bribed that cop. Like that was cool. It's like, what's a kid like you doing with all this money? What money?
Yeah.
All right, carry on.
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, furthering showing the like corruption in Gotham, and they don't give it.
Shows Batman didn't fix everything. He still got work to do. He has a lot of work to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love this kind of continuous idea of like lack of trust within these characters. Like the Penguin is in a stasis of like, well, I can't trust anybody, and that's probably because he isn't a trustable person himself. Like he's trying to but she's trying to get in with like Sophia and earn back his trust. But behind the scenes, we're seeing that like he's planning on backstabbing her the second things go south. Like he left her there, and
I was about to say.
Yeah, he left her there, but also there's this contrast of like, well, no one likes me. I don't actually, besides my mother, I don't have anybody in my life. So like those scenes with Victor, like his dynamic with Victor is so special because he finally feels like someone that wants to be around me, someone that wants to be with me. That I feel like he has a friend for the first time in a long time. So I think that dynamic's really fun.
I will say though that as much as I think you are right, I do think there's a part of the Penguin that if Sophia offered him a true partnership, instead of keep saying, you're my driver, let's not forget that, you're my ex-driver, remember your place. Like if she offered him true partnership, like you're talking about, a true connection that gave him the respect and the power that he has been groomed to like and need, that I think the betrayal would have stopped with her. I think he would have kept going elsewhere, but I think that if she offered that would have been a moment to pause. I don't think he would have jumped straight at that.
But then also, it's just like, would he be able to believe that? Because I think everything we've seen from Penguin so far is himself rooted in insecurity. Like everything he's done is because he's been insecure about himself, about his mother, to Victor, to where he's come from, to everyone that works under him. It's all because he killed that man in the first episode because he just said something, this offhanded comment to him that just sent him off the rail. So I don't know if he'd be fully able to trust Sophia. But with Victor, he's young, he's like impressionable. Like you're finding him at a place of vulnerability. You can feel like, well, this weak kid, he's not going to like betray me. I can build him up in my image, so he'll never betray me, kind of thing. And I thought that the final month of the episode, I thought was very sweet, if not also kind of creepy, where it's like, I knew you wouldn't betray me. I knew that you would come back for me. Like that was such a like, oh, that's actually kind of cute. A very wholesome moment. But you're right, Victor's in it. Like there's no going back for him at this point. He's murdered a man.
So do you think, slight tangent but still related, do you think that they went with the Penguin because we all know what a flight risk he is in battle, right? So like for the Batman universe, they're setting him up as the first like mob boss kind of super villain, so that when Two-Face or everybody else comes in, it makes sense. Because if you bring him in after and try to make him a threat and he just keeps running away every 5 minutes, kind of loses any credibility.
Yeah. And I think also we saw within the Batman is like the moment the Penguin does something, like Batman will be right there and he'll put him away real quick. Like he's not going to put up a fight. So if he can kind of, manipulate things from the shadows and do things in secret and, become sort of this, I think his ultimate plan is to become this sort of untouchable kingpin of crime in Gotham, similar to how Falcone is like kind of untouchable in that regard, and try to sit on his perch, I guess, as as a Penguin, and just kind of sit back in the Iceberg Lounge and let stuff play out the way that he envisions it.
I do love that they've changed the origin story and he has to fight and scrap for everything he gets instead of just being like another billionaire throwing everything at it.
Yeah.
That adds it so much more. Something else that hit me in this episode that I would love your thoughts on. We already have the Moronis seen as a threat, but not much of a threat. Do you know what I mean? Because we have his wife dealing with everything. Not that she's not a threat, just saying. But like, it's a split crew. They're being run off the road. The most that they're doing is snatch and grab jobs, right? So it's not like a massive threat where they're just waging war, right?
Right.
And then you have the Falcons. Do you think, like, because what they have set up in Arkham, as shown in this episode, is like a legit operation, which could have its own figurehead. Do you think that's something that's going to come in later and cause a problem? Or do you think we're going to be sticking with the Falcons and Maronis?
I mean, I feel like in a show like this, everything happens for a reason. Seeds are planted in places to then come back. It's a Chekhov's gun situation. Like, everything is placed where it is very meticulously. Yeah. So if they're focusing on a small little detail or a small little faction here or there, like, it is, planting the seeds for, maybe a greater conflict or, an all-out kind of like, mob war between all the different factions in Gotham or something.
So, one of the rumors is that Hugo Strange is going to be in the next Batman movie.
That'd be cool.
I'd like that. And
this could be a way to get into that if he is running Arkham.
That would be quite the, I guess, end off or the cliffhanger to leave this season on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we've definitely like thrown around the idea of like seeds being planted in the show to set up the Batman. We were definitely wrong about our Scarecrow theory because Darth threw around episode 1. I think it was episode 1 that we talked about, like they were teasing up this new drug in Gotham, and we were like, oh, maybe it's like the Scarecrow gas that he has.
Yeah,
that's
theory,
the new drug. It was a great theory. Like shout out.
They went the other way. They went right the other way with it.
I was like, okay, yep. They.
Well, I mean, what is it now? It's a fungus, so
Last of Us.
Yeah, that was Last of Us or Poison Ivy confirmed.
Oh, Poison Ivy! That's fun. They would never. Matt Reeves would be like, no.
Maybe
that goes the opposite to his like.
How would they do that in his reality?
Yeah,
like,
that's
because of the groundedness.
I think Poison Ivy would just be like a crazy like botanist or something.
Yeah, or like
just like literally just knows how to grow. Knows the formulas and everything to like grow these crazy plants.
Yeah, one of those comic book people with like 15 PhDs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody's going to find Penguin's mum, or do you think she's just going to pass? Like, because she's gone by the end of the season, I'm guaranteeing that. It's just a question of how.
And that would
I think
be
she dies.
more motivation. Yeah.
I think someone probably kills her.
Maybe Sophia. Honestly, maybe Penguin crosses her for the last time, and then that's the way that she gets back at him, and is
or
like
Victor. I've like me
just by accident.
Do you think? Because like I theorized episode 1. I don't think Victor's making it out of the season alive.
See, I think he's going to have that relationship you were talking about, and there's going to be a tragedy at the end of his life. Like, he's going to be there for like 20 years, and then it's either going to be him thinking, oh, like the Sith, now it's my time to rise. I need to be the captain now and do what he did with Sophia. Or the Penguin saying, hey, do this. And then, like you said, it goes against his father's principles, and that's what finishes his life.
Yeah, because
I guess
my thought process is like, this is a limited series. We're not getting a season 2 to this. It doesn't seem. So like, I feel like I just don't see Victor's role in the long term of like the Batman universe. Like, I can't see Victor showing up in like Batman Part 2 or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does. That'd be kind of an interesting choice for sure. But we'll see what happens. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Do we have any kind of other thoughts that we want to bring up in terms of the Penguin? I know we kind of rushed through a lot of it, but anything before we move on?
Just on that thought, if he doesn't make it, I will be devastated. I will be devastated. He is such a cool guy, and the bond that they've developed is really strong. And just like, if any of them got to go, I mean, ideally the Penguin, right? Keep the kid around.
But he's in
for sure.
he's in part 2, so he's safe on the board. I will say, as much as I love Victor, I do think he was making some very stupid decisions this week in terms of things he was doing. Like, he brought his girl over to the Penguin's house or whatever. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're going to
the last 2 episodes not taught you anything.
If he comes home while she's there, she's probably getting shot. Like, I don't. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what are you doing?
Also, why was his backpack open with the drugs in it so that when it fell, like everything fell on the floor? Like, dude, just zip your backpack.
Yeah, he could easily just
small little nitpick, but
yeah.
The PTSD he's going through, wow.
Yeah.
They portrayed that very, very well, and I never really thought about it, but it's true that the people of Gotham would have just seen walls of water littered with bodies, you know?
Yeah.
And that is horrifying. And he's still 18, 17, 18, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No, like, I just love seeing the various consequences of a story's actions. And I feel like we don't normally get to see that when it's just a movie universe. So getting to expand to the TV side of it, getting to have 8 hours worth of these stories, you could be like, yeah, there's this massive flood. Thousands died from this event. Like, this was a very tragic accident. We don't really think about that in the movie because there's a flood, but Batman fixed it. It's whatever. But like, no, like, all these people died, and there's PTSD and there's trauma. And I wonder if the villain of part 2 will have some kind of like connection to that. Like, that could be kind of maybe an idea they go on where like, oh, Batman killed my parents with the flood, or whatever they want to do. So we'll see.
Yeah, it definitely made you look at it in a different light. Like, it was very much so not glossed over, but it was just kind of like, okay, this is how the movie ends. Like, big tragedy. We've got some cleanup to do, but that's about it. But it showed, okay, no, that this, what the Riddler's ultimate plan kind of really messed up a large chunk of Gotham, and lots of people suffered the consequence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I gotta ask, right? This like really just portrays my understanding of the show as incredibly rudimentary that I'm even asking this. Okay, but the show is saying one thing, right? But then, like, the eyes of Sophia and just her sheer like struggle with her mental state makes me question it, right? The show is basically set up that the Falcones framed Sophia for being the hangman, right? Because she was trying to make roads in the family and they weren't having it.
Right.
Okay, because I still look at her and think, man, you are a serial killer.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna get a lot more in depth with that next week. If that's what it looks like from the teaser and everything. But yeah, that's the sense that I got is like, okay, maybe not everything is as it seems with her background, and maybe the reason why she's kind of as unhinged as she is now is just because she had to spend that time in Arkham, and it's now caused her to kind of snap. And maybe kind of fulfill the prophecy in that regard, is become the very thing that she, wasn't. But
okay, yeah.
I am what you made me.
I do think it was very interesting when like she's like describing the drug and they're like, yeah, they gave us to this in Arkham, we don't know where we are, and like we don't lose track of ourselves, and like that's like, oh my gosh, like I wonder. Just knowing the like corruption in Gotham, I assume they're just consistently on that. Like I assume that like they're probably on the clock on this drug. They're unconscious. They don't know what's going on. I assume there's much abuse and trauma with that. Like they could probably do anything to those patients once they're under that drug. Like that's a scary thing. I don't know how far we're going to dive into that. Again, I agree with you. I think we're diving into flashback stuff at some point. Arthur, like I want to see more of her. I don't know if you have already or if I just forgot, but like I want to see more of her experience in Gotham, what she went through. So I think that's going to be kind of interesting.
Something that I just thought of. What are the chances we get some sort of like either a series based in this Arkham Asylum, or not the Batman Part 2, but maybe the Batman Part 3 is finally going to be that like Batman Arkham Asylum movie that we've been kind of not necessarily teased, but like people have wanted. That was kind of the original idea for that Ben Affleck Batman movie, was kind of like a lockdown in Arkham Asylum kind of thing. And if we're going into the corruption of Arkham, do we pull in elements from like the Telltale series where like obviously we know that in this universe Bruce's parents weren't always on the up and up, so maybe they have some kind of stake in why Arkham is the way that it is, and we get some sort of villain that has been produced from Arkham itself, and maybe again we spend a series or a movie just solely in Arkham Asylum, or maybe they go as far as doing like the Arkham Island or something.
They can't seem to decide if they are done with that Arkham show or not, because they keep saying it's confirmed with that's like we're working on it, and then they're like, oh no, actually it's heading over to the James Gunn universe, and we're like, okay, cool, and then they're like, it's canceled now, but it was supposed to be in the Matt Reeves universe, and we're like, okay, cool, and then more recently he's like, yeah, I'm just trying to rework it, and it's like, choose, man, is it happening or is it not happening? We don't know. I'd like to see something like that, and I think like before my take was I didn't really want it in the Matt Reeves universe because I thought that was a more boring direction to go. Like I thought it'd be more interesting in James Gunn's universe when you have like Killer Croc and Poison Ivy and King Shark, or whatever various characters you want to use over there. But now seeing what they're doing over here, I'm like, maybe like I think you could do something cool if you want to go that direction. And
then that's like your Hugo Strange too.
Yeah, you could. I'd like to see it. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's definitely
the one I wanted to see most is the one that Taz was talking about with the Ben Affleck Arkham, because seeing him go through the levels or go down the levels in like just each level's a different supervillain and they just got their own crew. Just knocking the crap out of him would have been amazing.
The world building in an Arkham show, I think, could be huge. Which is kind of why I wanted it in James Gunn's universe, because I was like, oh, we're jumping into a 10-year established superhero universe. Great way to explore the history of Batman's rogues. If he's already fought Clayface and King Shark or whatever it would be, it's just there already. Like they're already there. You can slowly explore it a little bit.
Yeah, because there's like I forget, it's like the Dark Knight Returns or something, where it's like a whole bunch of civilians talking about their interactions with Batman, and you could have the same thing like just with people in like a support group in Arkham.
Yeah,
it's just how they got captured. Each one's an episode of their origin. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, it would.
But yeah, with that being said, I think we're gonna be moving on to our next show. Again, we have 3 shows this week, so we gotta keep.
We are spoiled. We are spoiled as well, because it's not even like any of these were duds. Okay, we got 3 like top tier shows to talk about. Each one of them needs awards just thrown at them. You know what I mean? Like it needs a safety net, and then just start throwing them.
Yeah. Arguably, there's like 4 great comic book television shows on at the moment, so that's really great. Let's talk about. No, Taj, you haven't seen Agatha All Along up until this point. So get out. No, I was kidding. So Agatha All Along episode. Is this episode 4, Darth? Or is this episode 5? It was episode 4, right? 4. We're continuing our trials on the Witch's Road. This episode felt really short to me. This episode, I felt like, because I started it when it first came out, I was like, okay, I'll come back to it. I was only like 2 minutes in, and I come back, I was like, that's it? What the hell? Like, it just started. It felt much shorter than the previous episodes have been. What was your kind of thoughts on episode 4?
Just wow. There hasn't been a day go by that I haven't been singing down, down, down the road.
Yeah.
It's just catchy as hell. And I love the kind of musical interlude that this episode was, because I feel like the next 2 episodes are going to be dark as hell. And just you needed this. Do you mean it could have came after as well? But, just I loved the diving into Lorna Wu, or that's her mother's name. the Fire Witch.
Alice, right? It was Alice.
No, is it Alice? Her name?
Isn't it Alice?
The Fire Witch, the one singing on the piano.
I think so. Right.
Okay. Yeah. So her, like diving into her story with and seeing that demonic creature as well. That was really exciting.
That was fun. Yeah.
But like, I have to say, the episode needed to be called "Kill the Mood." Okay, because that's what everybody was doing this entire episode. The second any sort of thing got set up, that person was then saying the worst thing they could have said.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You had Agatha. Sorry, I'm tangenting here. You had Agatha, right? Talking to the kid, right, the teen, and just finally letting every barrier down, and just being there with him, and just being vulnerable, and just trying. You know what I mean? And then boom, the second thing he says to her clams her up, and she's walking off. You know what I mean? Dude, this is taking like how many hundreds of years? What are you doing? And then Rio.
Yeah.
Right? Breaking down barriers. About to start making out. Boom. Worst thing you could have possibly said. Off she goes.
I don't quite know what Rio's angle is, because it seems like she's it seems like she's having fun being here. She's reconnecting with Agatha, sprinkling in they had a past, which, you know, not to brag, I was right about that one. That was one.
You were very
like,
right.
I think they're siblings, and I was like, they got too much chemistry to be siblings.
Yeah.
But yeah, she wants to be there, but then she's also like, yeah, but I'll kill you in your sleep. It's fine. It's just like, where are you landing? Like, do you still want to kill us, or are you really on our mission? I'm very like they've introduced like something I'm very curious about what happened between Agatha and Rio, because she said something about like I had to cut something loose and it hurt them, but it had to be done, kind of.
No. Like I had to do so. I had to hurt them, even though it was I did something and it hurt them, even though it was my job and I didn't want to do it, which just screams her taking the payment for the Darkhold, right? But why would Mephisto or any of his kin or denizens of that realm have any connection to the Darkhold when it's Chthon that is the person that made it? Do you know what I mean? Like, that would be the person that you'd make the deal with. So I'm confused.
Hello. Yeah, no, I'm curious like what their dynamic was, and like there's so clearly. I'm waiting for that Backlash episode because it has to happen. I don't know if it's going to be full on flashbacks or if it'll kind of go back and forth between present day and flashbacks. But like, they've had a history. How long is that history? You know, what was the extent of their relationship? What's her ultimate goal here? Like, does she still want to kill Agatha at this point? I don't know. Like,
it's 50-50 because it's very interesting because she is basically in Agatha's show what Agatha was in WandaVision. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Down to the bit where like shit's popping off and she sat reading a book on the sofa. She's loving life. She's just enjoying all of it and she's here for the giggles, you know? My question is Agatha had the Darkhold and then was put onto purple magic. So I'm questioning whether it was all the way back to what we saw in WandaVision as to when she met Rio. Mm-hmm. And as for flashbacks, I need flashbacks for all of them. I need the binding magic with the Doctor and the potions witch, Jen, I think her name is, the divination switch, okay, and her thing in Italy. Oh my god, desperately need that one. That looks insanely good and just terrifying. Sure. We've had Alice's, the teen. My god, that needs answers.
They're just continuously introducing more mystery with that.
Yeah.
I really appreciated. I really appreciated because I think this is the episode where we're starting to become an actual coven. Like, characters are starting to care for each other, worry about each other, becoming a family. Like, Rio's kind of coming in between here. I think I think Rio actually did Agatha a big favor, because now Rio's the enemy. Like they can't be like, oh, Agatha's up to her old tricks. It's now it's like, oh, she's after Agatha. Now we have to protect Agatha. And now she's the villain. But like, them become more of a family. It's set up that Agatha thinks Teen is her son. Like, she's thinking, oh, it's him, just like many fans are thinking. It could technically still be the case, but it seems like this episode's confirming it's probably not him. I think we all know at this point who it is. I don't.
Why would like, if it is and the sacrifice was made, which is the heaviest implication of the show, why would the person that made the trade just let them go? I mean, after however many hundreds of years, you're fine, you're off, you're good, be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That makes no sense. Liam and his wife Sarah were saying that there's like heavy point is that Rio might be Death. I don't vibe with that, right? Because aside, like, because the main trilogy for Death, right, is Death, Deadpool, and Thanos. Okay, that's my whole same argument as to why when you shouldn't be introducing Mephisto into Ironheart. You know what I mean? Like, it would make, although if that's what they're doing, it makes sense that they'd bring this guy, that Lady Death, in here. You know what I mean? But it would make no goddamn sense. Especially because she says, I'm not a Green Witch, I'm the Green Witch, right? Death and entropy do not go well with fertilization and life, you know, and growth, you know. It's quite the opposite. So that also doesn't line up. So it just it's not a theory that I vibe with very well.
Here's what I'll say. I will not comment on who I think Billy is or not Billy. I won't comment
Rio.
on who I think Teen. Who Teen is going forward, or Rio, because Funko's leaked online recently with who characters' names are. Did you see those?
No.
They leaked.
Why are they ruining it? Why are they ruining it?
Funko strikes again.
I saw those. I was like, gosh dang it.
and that's kind of why I was like, I'm not really in a rush to watch it. I'll watch it when it finishes
So
up. I'll probably do a WandaVision rewatch beforehand too.
WandaVision's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a spoiler?
No.
Okay. Have
an
you seen the Funko Pops?
Oh yeah, I've seen the Funko Pops. Yeah.
They are pretty big spoilers, I'll say.
I can confirm I have seen them. I have thoughts on them.
Oh, okay,
And,
okay.
Yes,
okay.
we must
That's
keep
all I'll
Garth
say.
safe.
That's all I'll say. Avoid the internet. Mute the word Funko on Twitter.
Just block them.
Yeah.
My God, monsters. Oh.
Yeah, that was.
And
that was
don't go to Target.
They do this a lot, but yeah, no. I mean, just kind of like overall thoughts. Like, I thought this episode was a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed. It actually might be my technical least favorite so far, but not because any real reason. I don't know. Like, I've really liked the show a lot. I thought their like rock ballad of Down the Witch's Road was a lot of fun, and you know, I thought it was very funny them like doing the seance circle around them each time the curse hits them. They're like, hurry up, draw the circle. Like, dynamics I think was strongest in this episode. Like, we're becoming a real team. I think the show is benefiting from the just the longer format. Like to me, we've said this each week now, but it feels like an actual TV show to me. Like, we're getting to spend time with these characters. There's 9 episodes. Each episode is a bit longer than your normal Disney Plus show would be, thankfully, or about the same, I guess. But most of them have been longer. Do you have any kind of final thoughts prior to us moving over to Superman and Lois?
Yes, 2 questions. One question, one thought. The thought is quickly the Divination's Witch. Her with the maracas was just pure magical. Okay, and I want to see her with them every week because she was rocking to the beat and it was sick. Them as a band, I love it. The question I have is, do you think that no matter what witch was lost on the road, right, whether it was the quote unquote Green Witch, which they didn't bloody have, it was just a gardener down the road, or the Fire Witch or the Water Witch, do you think that Rio, when they did that spell, do you think that she would have taken any place, or that she is specifically a Green Witch?
Who, Rio or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rio's probably a Green Witch. I think we can probably trust
So,
her.
So if they lost Jen, for example, and they did that spell, you think someone else would have come?
I don't know. Yeah, no, because that's a good question. Because it does seem like she wants to be there. It's interesting because yeah, maybe is she just that powerful where she could fit every placeholder of kind of witch? She's like, I'm a Green Witch and I'm a Red Witch, I'm a whatever witch, I'm a like maybe she's just like. Could Scarlet Witch come down and be like, yeah, I'm all of them, bitch. Like, I'm the fucking Scarlet Witch, bro. Like,
that's me.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying the show. But this is episode 4, so we have 5 episodes left still. We have some room to cover. I'm glad Teen isn't dead. I really liked seeing Agatha just that concerned over Teen. It was a little sad once I found out, like, oh, she's just concerned because she thinks it's her son. Like, that disheartened me a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, I guess, But like their bonding has been really fun, and it's been very heartwarming to see that, I think.
But I think like it's only because that like kept being slapped in her face. Do you know what I mean? I still think that yes, a part of her was hoping that was the case. Like the impossible ask, the impossible hope that she knows is not that. But she still wanted to be vulnerable with him. She still wanted to be a part of his life and have him a part of the coven. But she just kept getting slapped in the face with it. Do you know what I mean? So I think she had to like pull up that wall and be just like, because there she is, like truly like trying to extend like emotional olive branches and stuff. And they come up with like the worst possible thing. Like, I've got to say, the teens felt a little bit just out of nowhere. I know kids say some shit, right? But to go from the sentence he said before to that.
To what? That, like, why'd you lose your son? Or, like, what happened
to
your son? Yeah.
Yeah, it felt a little 180-ish.
I wouldn't have said that right then either. I would have waited a little bit longer to be like, so did you murder your baby? Or what's going on there?
Right? Yeah. Like, how are you in a relationship if you're this bad at social faux pas? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you're this bad at putting your foot in your mouth, how have you landed a guy?
Okay. I'm wondering if maybe they're just not going to address the boyfriend thing. Because if he cannot say who he is, how does he have a partner? That's where I'm at right now.
Okay. I'm on the thing where it's only witches that can't hear him say his name.
Okay. Maybe. We'll see. Because, like, I have a feeling they're just not going to address the boyfriend thing. Like, I don't know why. I feel like they're just going to be like, which is fine.
Let that hang.
I guess you don't have to. But, like, I have a feeling there's going to be like, because, like, it's even crossed my mind, like, what if the boyfriend's fake? Like what if his life outside of this isn't a thing yet? Like, it's like a fake set of memories or something. But I guess the boyfriend called him, so I guess it couldn't be fake. I don't know.
Have we seen his face?
We haven't seen the face. We just saw the phone call that said like boyfriend or whatever, right? I don't know.
Okay.
With this, like with these shows, the whole thing is about like fake realities and like things people think are real that aren't real. So it's like maybe that happened to him. Like maybe he's in some kind of weird mindscapey type thing. But
So okay, sorry. Last thing, I know you're trying to move on. I'm sorry, and I'm half the reason for it. Right. So like we've lost Sharon, right? We've kept Alice, but yeah, who is Sharon? I don't know. I feel like other people have to be lost, right? Because what was set up, like in the recording studio, plus the song. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like these people are going to be guiding them there, and we have to have the "I want my coven back" moment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? How much longer do you think we're going to be staying in the road?
But this is episode 4. I think by episode 6 maybe, and then 7.
Really?
I don't know, because there's a lot left still, man. We got 5 whole episodes left. That's a couple hours still. Because episode 8 and 9 are airing at the same time, so I guess we can kind of assume that's like the 2-hour finale or like the hour finale or whatever. So maybe up until that point, like maybe they get out episode 7 and then it leads into the finale.
Okay.
Or unless the whole thing is just a road. I like they haven't said how many trials. I can't see there being that many trials. Like usually trials are in sets of 3.
I'm
right?
expecting one for each element, right? So we've had we had
Once
fire
there's 6.
today.
Yeah.
Earth, wind, fire, and water, right? Will be the basic ones that they need to deal with.
So there's 5 witches, right? So 2, 3, 4, 5,
well, 4
6.
witches plus the team.
4 witches. So it's only 4 witches. So that would be
Agatha, Alice.
2, 3, 4.
Oh no,
5.
yeah, no, 5. Yeah, Jen, the Divination's witch.
5 witches would be
Leo.
episode 6. That'd be episode 6. That'd be 7, 8, 9. We'll see. That'd be interesting. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into the big meat of potatoes. The thing I think we all really want to talk about. Superman and Lois.
Yes.
Here we go.
It's back.
Hold on. Do I have a?
Not a moment too soon. Oh, thank God for the second episode release.
Oh, wait, that's not it. What's laughter? Hold on.
Drum roll, please.
Here we go. Yeah! I have these sound effects, and I don't ever use them. Okay, Superman and Lois is back, baby. Episodes 1 and 2 aired. Oh, gosh. Don't be quiet. Episode 1 and 2 aired on the CW last night. I've been clamoring to talk about it. How we feeling? How we feeling, everybody?
It is
pumped.
good to be back. We are back, boys.
We were talking about this, like, I don't know if he said beginning of the stream or whatever. Like, I got a little sad when the episodes were airing because it's like, it was such a great feeling yesterday. Flash had their 10th anniversary.
Yes.
Superman and Lois was airing new episodes. All my friends I would typically have on social media that were watching the shows are watching again. Everyone's talking about these shows again. And it's like, this feeling is great, but it's going to go away. Like, it's going to go away after the season's over. And it's like,
got what, 8 more weeks?
I moved on. Like, I moved on to other interests, and now it's like, oh, this feeling. I miss this feeling.
Just when I thought I was out, I'm back in.
I'm back in.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
People keep asking if I'm back. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Obviously, Taz, we talked to I think pretty much every episode of Superman and Lois season 3.
Yeah.
Genuinely one of my favorite, I think, TV experiences because those were so much fun. Those just like freaking 12 o'clock in the morning, just like what's happening this season.
Yeah.
Like,
all right, time to theorycraft.
Oh man, that I think. Did we watch it? No, I think it was the day after. But like
I thought it was
finale.
night of, or
like
night of.
Typically we would, but like I think the finale night we did like the day after.
Okay. Yeah.
But that finale last season was one of like my favorite shows I think I've ever done because it was just like, who gives a shit about the comments? Like we were so behind on comments. It was just like, what a hell of a season final that was. Like that ending with Doomsday coming through, Superman coming through. I don't know if he knew if it was renewed or not at that point. Like it's still kind of up in the air. Like
and then
what
we had all that
moment.
weird info too.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and we got left on that cliffhanger for. I saw somebody post it was like 400 and something days or whatever that it was off.
It's been a year and a half.
Insane. Yeah.
Ooh.
That is the longest break of all time for one of like the craziest cliffhangers, and we jump literally right into it, like where it left off. I thought it was really cool how they just like from the recap into the episode, like no time passed. They just spliced it together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how do we kind of feel about like the first 2 episodes, and then we can kind of trail off from there on kind of how we're feeling.
Test
first? Yeah. Okay. Dude, I loved them. Like I posted about it right after the episodes happened. I was when I sat down to watch them, it was kind of a surreal experience. It was like, hey, we're back after all this time, and it felt like we did not skip a beat. Like the show was gone for so long. I rewatched the whole show a couple months ago before we came back just to kind of get, see if any extra theories I had or anything, but it felt so good to be back. The entire cast brought their A game. Again, it felt like no time had passed. I know there was a lot of, reservations coming into the final season. It was 10 episodes. Not every main character was going to be in every episode, but I think they did a really good job of making it still feel like it's the same quality, that the same care was taken with these first couple of episodes as they have been with the past 3 seasons. There wasn't anything that was left kind of unanswered or anything. We had that big cliffhanger, but again, we hit the ground running. We started to figure out what Lex's plan was. We got a continuation of the fight scene. Nothing that happened last season was thrown on a back burner. Everything still matters and everything still counts going into it. And again, I don't think that there was a moment of dead space whatsoever. There was no filler storylines. It is, again, hit the ground running and just go for 10 episodes.
Yeah, man, it was such I was very curious at the end of last season, kind of what we were going to do with it, because there was a lot of speculation. Are we doing Death of Superman? How are they going to do Death of Superman? We lost some cast members. We lost some budget. We lost some writers. Yeah. I was concerned, and I think good reason to. Like, we're people who typically defend a lot of what the CW sometimes does in terms of what they do. Like, we are there to defend them most of the time, but I think that there was some very valid criticisms to be potentially had, and I guess more concerns to be had going into this final season. And obviously, I think you can tell a little bit. There's some things that are different. There's some things that you can maybe nitpick about. Yeah. But I think as a whole, man, for what they've gone through, for what they've had to do, I just feel like we're back. Like, not really much has changed. Like, it's very impressive to me.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, it feels like, again, it's nothing has changed. It's the same quality show. Like, it feels like this is the beginning of what could be a 15, 16 episode season, and I wish it was. Especially with, I think this will probably be most people's biggest criticism is there wasn't quite as much Superman as I wanted there to be.
Sure.
I think that's probably the biggest thing is, and also from what we kind of get at the end of it, it's set up that there's a lot of speculation on, okay, how long is this Death of Superman storyline going to take? I was, I had some questions on my videos when I was breaking stuff down. I was like, oh, don't worry about it. It'll probably be, by the end of the second episode or, 3, maybe episode 4 at the most. But now I'm thinking this is going to be a half season ordeal at least.
Yeah.
Like end of episode 4 or halfway through episode 5 at the earliest, I feel like.
Yeah, that was my concern doing Death of Superman, because I said I don't think you should do Death of Superman because it's the final season. Because, I think this would be great if this was their 7-season planned show. Like, I think regardless, this season would have been Death of Superman, because I think if this was the final season or not, it feels like this was always the plan. This was always the setup. Do this, and I think that works better if you have that 7-season plan. If you now have the next 5, 6, 7 still to come after this event.
I would have felt a lot better about it, but now it's just like
it's like that's a big concern for me. Is like, do we only have 5 episodes with Superman? Like that 4 episodes Superman? Like that.
I did like the flashbacks though. I think those helped a lot.
Perfectly timed. Yeah, I will say, as much as I agree, with Taz, I too, I'm going to go with your early assessment, and I'm going to say episode 4. I think he'll be back. You can yes, the quality is exactly the same. All of the emotion and depth that we get with all of the characters, no matter how little of a time we get them. Like Indy Navarrete, for example, with Sarah. Do you mean we didn't get an exorbitant amount of time with her, but when she was there, it was great having her there, and it was like she had never been gone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like everybody was there. But the show does feel smaller. The show does feel more condensed. You can feel the lack of Kyle. You can feel the lack of Chrissy. You can hilariously feel the lack of Sarah's sister, who's also never there. But the sacrifice for the characters, it feels like the story benefited because it was more condensed and it was driven a lot faster. The pacing felt a lot better, and something that could have been drawn out for 3 or 4 episodes was pushed into 2.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I think that Superman could come back end of 4, because like while they're giving us like the grit and the dirt and everything of how low they're feeling, we don't have long.
Yeah.
And we need to see like more than just 2 episodes of a fully healed Clark and a Lex Luthor like battling against each other, because all we have is flashbacks of their past, and all we've had really is Lex and Lois. We haven't even really had Clark and Lex yet.
Yeah, I do think that, that is a slight criticism for me, where it's like mainly like there are characters in the story that I feel like should be there at certain points that weren't there in the 2-part.
John Henry
was the big
that
one.
was yeah.
That was
I
my
was
main
shocked
criticism.
to not see him in the first 2. Like,
sorry to interrupt. Did they recast Natalie?
No.
no.
That was a different character that looked like Natalie.
Okay, just because she had her hair up like Natalie would. I was like, they better not have. They better not have.
I did
No.
the same thing. I was like, Natalie? Oh no, it's not Natalie. Okay.
Okay,
But,
cool,
like,
cool. Calm.
Yeah, no, like no, that was the thing where like I completely understand why he's not there, budget reasons. I can excuse that. But also the like in-universe mind, it's like he just saw Clark go up there to fight a giant like fucking gorilla monster thing. In any other scene with him, he'd be like, "Oh shit, go grab my suit, go up and help Clark." That's what he does every episode. That's his thing. So for him to be like, "Actually, I got like yoga class in half an hour, Clark. I'm gonna go there for the next 2 episodes." It's like,
You got this.
I get it. I understand that he can't be there, his budget. But it's like he should be there. He would be right there with Jordan, be like, "Yeah, let's go beat the shit out of Lex Luthor. Like, let's get this done." He'd be leading the charge. He'd be there to protect Lois. Like, it was like, "Oh, Jordan's the last hero." No, Stu's right there. He's also a hero. He helps our team out too. And again, not to like criticize, because I understand why he's not there. Like, this isn't a criticism for me. It's just a frustration in the writing where it's like a name drop would have been nice, just to be like, "Oh, he's I don't know. I don't even know what you say to get rid of him."
Like he's on patrol, like looking for him or something like that. Like,
something.
He's just circling the globe looking for Clark, maybe.
I have to say, after the season 2 tease of the death of Superman Light, with like a tease of the reign of Superman that had everybody like, "Oh, is this gonna happen? Is this gonna happen?" To then double down and give us the full chuck. This is no nonsense. That's better than the goddamn Batman versus Superman fight.
They're committed.
Right?
I love the respect for them to fully committing to it. And I did say, like I said, I didn't want them to do it because it was final season. But I do think Superman Lois is going to do easily the best adaptation of Death Superman we've ever seen. Because I've said, like, they already have kind of all the pieces in play. And, like, Smallville didn't do it, right? Right?
Yes,
did they?
It did a version of it, yes.
Okay.
Also, hi 3Dubs.
Oh yeah, also, hello.
I'm still waiting for my
How you doing?
Like everyone's like talking. I'm like,
sorry, we're just excited. Okay, hold on. Also, you rated us. You guys are rated us. How dare you? I was having a conversation. I looked over. There's 20 comments just unchecked. I was like, what the hell happened?
We couldn't help it. You were live, and people. We just decided to like radio and basically live react to you reacting.
That was
nice.
that was a top 10 moment. That was really funny.
Best way to start the stream.
Absolutely. But no, to go back to Superman Lois, what were we even talking about? Oh, Death of Superman. Yeah, I think like Superman Lois is the perfect. I think it can be done so much better in TV form than movies can. Like, I think that the Superman movie's great. I think BBS exists. But like, we've spent time with these characters. Like, we get to see on screen for the last 3 seasons what Superman means to the people and what these characters are and what they mean to each other. And Superman is a symbol for the world. We actually get to watch that throughout the history of the show. So we're going to see the on-screen consequences of getting to spend time. We can spend the next couple episodes being like, Superman's dead. What do we do about that? Like, I'm excited for that aspect of it. But again, it's just the final season thing that concerns me, because it's like, oh boy, we are kind of on a time crunch.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Before you do, sorry. I'm going to bounce quickly, but I'm just going to quickly say, thank you for having me. Also, but this Lex Luthor, I have to say, is the absolute best I've ever seen. Usually we get like such a nerdy studious Lex Luthor that has like a high voice and is all about I'm wearing a suit and I'm not going to get dirty, you know, like. But here we have a guy that is physically imposing. It's like he went to the Jeff Bridges School of Intimidation. You know what I mean? Just imposing space. You know, just I'm all about space back breaking. You know, I want him in your face. You know, and it was great.
Like Luthors are Michaels, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a Lex Luthor that looks like he could choke out Superman, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's crazy! I can't believe he did that." Like, but I believe it. Like, it's just like he is that like stature and like strength and intimidation. I am terrified of this Lex Luthor. Every scene with him and Lois, I'm like, Lois, be careful, Lois. Like, don't get too close. You're gonna die.
Like I said last season, this isn't Lex Luthor. This is Flex Luthor. See ya.
Yeah, bye.
Yo. No, there you
go. Leave studio. Okay.
But anyway, Flex Luthor. Yeah. So, dude is imposing. The guitar riff that plays every time he's on screen as well is great. It just like he just takes control of every single scene that he's in. I mean, I think Michael Cudlitz honestly kind of carried these 2 episodes. Everybody was great, but I think, you know, we got just a small taste of how Lex was at the end of last season, and I already was a massive fan, but this just took it to a whole nother level. Like, again, this is, I think, I agree with Darth. Like, this is my favorite version of Lex.
Oh, wow.
Hands down. Yeah, this is my favorite version of Lex.
I actually do think it was very smart to up him to series regular. Like, I bet they're in a spot where, like, we're losing about 8 different cast members as a series regular. And, like, Michael does a great job at controlling the screen. Like, he is the center of attention every scene he's in. Since the last season, it's weird. I basically watched all of Walking Dead since the last season of Lois. That's how long this show's been off the air. And I met him in that show. And in that show, he's a character that's just, like, every time he's on screen, he's the center of attention. He's the main focus. He's
a scene stealer, too.
Yeah, absolutely. He steals every scene he's in. Like we said, he's intimidating. He's scary.
We lost Mikey Smith and gained him.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, and I'll be curious to kind of see his journey and how they kind of keep him bound, because he's been here for 5 minutes. And he's already like destroyed our family more than anyone has in the last 20 years of his career. Like, it's like he's just destroying us. Like, in 5 minutes, he's destroyed Bizarro, murdered Superman, almost killed Sam. He knows the identity of the Kents. Like, he has us all in fear. Like, it's just like he came in here and did this in seconds. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's cleaning house. He knows what to do, and he's a man on a mission. Like, you know, from that first scene where it's like, okay, we bought the hotel, we're, you know, right across from the Gazette. Like, okay, this is me settling in. Lex knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants. He you know, suffered for 17 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
He blames Lois for it because she didn't double check the evidence. And he's like, okay, I'm out of prison now. Apologize. Quit your job because this is what sent me away. No, you're not going to do that? Okay. I'll just destroy your life like you destroyed mine. Kill Superman. Take over your small town. Regain control of his, you know, empire with Luthor Corps or Lex Corps. I can't remember which one they're calling it. And just show everybody who's boss. Yeah. You know? And do it, again, in the most capable way that a villain has. Like, most times you'll see villains kind of, you know, play with their food in a sense. But Lex is like, no, like, I have the capabilities. I can kill Superman right now. Boom. Gonna kill Superman.
Yeah.
Both your boys are doing some dumb stuff and trying to, you know, go around my back and get Clark's heart back. No, I'm not going to let that happen. Like, we're going to put them both in a life or death scenario and literally make Lois choose on the phone. You have a collect call from Lex Luthor. Do you accept the charges?
I still don't exactly know how he did all of that. Like, I was because he wasn't expecting the. I mean, maybe I guess he was expecting the boys because they were being stupid about it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know how he did the whole voice changing thing. I don't know how he made it sound like Clark. I don't
AI voice. He's Lex Luthor. He can afford to make it.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like he came up with it very last minute. It was like, yeah, they're about to die. Very Slade Wilson Arrow season 2, where it's like, choose. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And she chose, and we didn't get to see. She hit a button.
Okay, yeah. Let's
Yeah.
set that theory now. Who do we think he chose? Because we were talking a bit about this on Party Nation right before. I don't know anymore. Who do we think it was?
I think there's a correct answer. There's a correct answer.
Yeah. Who do we think?
One, Jonathan.
You think it's Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, you choose to save the kid without the powers because the kid with powers has more of a chance of surviving. That just logistically makes the most sense.
I went the other way. My first intention is that you save Jordan, because if you lose the one guy with powers, we're fucking screwed. Like that's the messed up way of thinking, and I think that's the drama of it all. Is like, oh, you like. My brother's powers makes him worth more than me. Like I could see like CW writing, and I guess Superman Lois is normally better about that. But that's drama written to happen. Like, wait, no, because I don't have powers, I'm not worth as much as my brother. Like that's like, oh my gosh.
if they find out, it's gonna be Drama City. Yeah, like I
don't think there's no way they don't find out. Lex Luthor is such a blabbermouth. He's gonna be like, "Did you know your mother chose one of you over the other?" Like, what?
Well, that's his whole plan. Is part of his plan is to turn the boys against Lois, just like his daughter was turned against him.
Yeah.
What if she actually pressed both buttons?
She pressed option 3.
Yeah, they both die. But yeah, that's a good point though, because like I wonder if he was never planning on killing any of them. I don't think he ever had a plan to kill one or the other. It was just I want this leverage on you. I want to know what
it's psychological torture.
Yeah.
Also, if you think about it, they did nothing wrong to the daughter, so to kill a kid wouldn't be revenge. It would be overkill. He still wants to drive away. He still wants to torture them, but killing the kid isn't a part of his revenge plan because nothing happened to his daughter.
Yeah, I don't. Do we think Lex would go that far to kill children? Like, I don't.
Yeah, honestly, this version of Lex, I wouldn't put it past him.
If something happened to his daughter, then yes.
Yeah.
But I think it's more like a tit for tat.
True.
Like you ruined me, I'm gonna ruin you, but I won't go as far as killing your son because my daughter's safe.
Sure. Yeah, I do wonder if like they're trying to think. Like he doesn't seem like he seems like he has some sort of level of moral compass. Like there seems like he might have a line where I think in his mind he is just like he's being judge and jury. Like I feel like he's like, well, I gave you the option, the quit writing. Like I gave you that purpose. Everything you have right now is coming to you. And I do wonder if he's like, well, the kids didn't do anything. I mean, I'm not trying to hurt them at the moment. They're just children. Like I do wonder if he maybe has that line. Like actually, thought it was a nice scene, kind of, when like he sat down with them and he's like, listen, like what's happening right now, like it's all on them. Like this isn't you. This is their own fault, kind of thing.
What gave me the inkling that he has a moral like compass to where he doesn't cross the line because it wasn't crossed to him, meaning his daughter's still alive, was when he turned off the pain thing and just decided to torture the kid instead of killing him. Yeah.
I don't think he wanted Jordan dead. Although, by the way, that scene was really, really good. Shout out to the actor who plays Jordan. I thought that was probably his best performance in the show thus far. Just the like agonizing screams and the like tortured soul of someone who just lost all hope of saving his dad. Like I thought that was a really, really great scene.
So it's been about 14 minutes since we talked about this, but I had like my own version of what I think will happen with the death of Superman. Didn't get to say it because it happened 14 minutes ago. I think it's going to be the end of episode 5 is when we're going to see Superman back, and then there's going to be a break.
Do we know?
Or-
Like, is there anything confirmed? Like, if there's a mid-season or
I think
like?
the mid-season break will be episode 5, like after episode.
Okay.
5.
I'll be honest. I don't think they're gonna have a break just because I think they want to be done before Christmas. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say
it will
it
still
can
be done before
completely finish
Christmas.
air. Yeah.
It will still be if they take a week break. It's because usually after episode 5 of all CW shows, there is a break. So
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a 1 week break, and then that's it. And then
I-
the rest of
I don't personally see a reason for them to take it. Like, they're all like
Thanksgiving would be the reason.
yeah, but it doesn't air.
I mean,
on-
they would
we-
they would finish the. I just counted it. They'd finish the week of Thanksgiving, I think, but earlier in the week because Thanksgiving's always on a Thursday.
Mm.
So
Really,
if
I thought it
they
was like
keep airing-
December 7th.
No,
no,
Let me see. It's fine. It's fine.
no, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Thanksgiving
But
is
yeah,
November.
so this was. Yeah, Thanksgiving's always November. I think it would be.
Okay.
It's what
the
the
last
third.
Thursday.
Or I think either the last or the third Thursday in November or something, something
It's
like
always
that.
the last Thursday.
Something fun like that. Yeah. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see if they. I personally don't think they'll take a break. I think they'll just kind of let it run its course. I think they want to be. Again,
Can't
they've
wait
been like.
to be right.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
I'll be like shocked if this is the only season that it doesn't take a break.
I mean, Stargo didn't. The last 2 seasons of Stargo
Well,
had zero breaks.
it was in
Well,
the
I mean-
summers, so
I had half a mind to think that they'd take a break after the 2-part premiere. Like, especially since they moved it up, I would have thought, oh, they're gonna have their 2 episodes
Mhm.
and then take a couple weeks, let people breathe, and then go.
what
back to it.
actually upsets me the most is the fact that it's a 2-part premiere, because it should, for me personally, if you're going to do a 2-part premiere, it should be 12 episodes.
It's I mean, I think it worked very well in their favor because I do think they work very well together. Like, it could have stopped at episode 1. They've done that in the past, but I think they work as a good kind of reintroductory point.
And I think that the finale for last season, episode 1 and episode 2, work as kind of a trilogy. No time passes between episodes. So the premiere of season 4 picks up right where the finale of season 3 ended.
Mhm.
And then episode 2 picks up right where episode 1 ended. So it is one continuous. If you put these on, you spliced them back to back to back. Like, there's no time
one-
skip whatsoever.
There's actually one. They end the whole Superman and Doomsday coming at each other on the moon.
Yeah.
And then when you finally see this continuation of the scene where his cape's ripped and everything, he's off the moon and onto some other a rock or planet,
Mhm.
which is
They like fly elsewhere for
Yeah.
the
so that's
yeah
the
for
time.
fight.
Yeah.
It's
But,
not a
like-
direct. It's not a direct
Not
continuation.
direct, like, the next second, but
But
for the
thing
most
I
part,
have
it's
a problem with is the fact that they released the entire fight scene where
Yeah, I don't.
where it's uncut, and then they cut it up in small little
in the
portions.
episode, I didn't
like 3
necessarily
different
like
scenes,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's like it takes you out of the imagination of it lasting longer than it is. Because if you put all the scenes together, it's only 5 minutes,
Right. Or no, it was like 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes.
Yeah,
the last scene was cut, but as soon as he blasts, that's the end of the fight.
I really wish they wouldn't have put out that little snippet. Like, I think there's
Yeah.
other things they could have done. Listen, I get they're trying to tell people like, hey, watch our final season. Hey, like, promote it a little bit. But like, that was probably some of the highlights of the episode, and I was like, this is cool, but I've already seen it, so it wasn't as
And I mean, that was
cool.
the big action set piece of the entire premiere was
Yeah.
that. And we've seen it for 2 months now.
You know
The
why I
only-
think they did
what's-
that?
What's
I
funny
think-
is
God, sorry.
the thing is, like, they didn't they gave you a cliffhanger with it, which is, I think, smart in a way, because you don't know how the fight ends. But at the same time, it's only 2 seconds in the fight ends.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that was disappointing. Like, this should have lasted a little bit longer past that, though.
I think that's a big chunk of the budget this season. I think they were like, people are going to want this Doomsday set piece. People need it after a cliffhanger, which I think is right. People would have been very disappointed if they didn't at least finish the fight. But I think they know rest of the season, we're not going to have a lot of Superman. We're going to save the budget a little bit these next couple episodes.
I think it's 5.
Yeah. I mean, to go back just a little bit.
Oh, to add on to what I was saying, the way I think it was 5 is because we have a centric episode with Chrissy and Kyle. I think we're also going to have a centric episode with Irons and his daughter. I think we're also going to have a centric episode with Sarah and his mom and her mom to kind of close out those stories.
I think they're separating all the guest stars to one episode. So I think this episode obviously was Lana. I think Lana has 2 more episodes. No, 1 more episode. Yeah, because Lana only has 2 episodes this season. So we're gonna probably get that. Next week is Kyle and Chris. No, next week is
John Henry and Natalie.
John Henry and Natalie. I think that's John's only episode, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's only in 1 or 2 episods.
I thought I remember seeing pictures of him on set for the finale.
Okay, so that's 2.
Yeah, don't tell me. Don't. You told me.
Okay. Okay, that's all.
I'm like, I totally avoided canon graphs, and now I'm like, well, too late.
Hold on, let me try something really quickly.
Oh, what?
You're lagging a lot, so I was trying to kick you out and then pull you back in. Here, I'm gonna kick you for a second, 3Dubs, and I'll have you come back in. All right, just to see if I help at all. Now we're done with him. No,
hey, look, it's a classic stream now.
Yay! Yes. He can kind of add on to this when he comes back.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the heart? Because
okay, yeah.
I don't think that was the real heart. That's my theory at the moment.
That's an interesting one. I think, in a similar way, there's a second heart.
Yeah.
Doomsday's heart.
I've also heard that theory.
That's my theory. Is we've got to defeat Doomsday. So Reign of the Supermen, steal Superboy, maybe bring back Eradicator.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to do a version of Cyborg Superman? Maybe that's who Tom Cavanaugh is going to play.
That could be
kind of a random theory, not as fun as yours, but
yeah,
Reign of the Supermen, defeat Doomsday, take his heart and put it into Superman's body.
Maybe.
That's my theory.
Maybe. The only reason I say I don't think it's a real heart because I think that's very un-Lex Luthor to waste waste resources. I think you have a real life alien heart, a real life a heart that seems to be beating outside of someone's chest. Though that's a resource. You can create a clone. You can create you could probably do some kind of scientific whatever with that heart. I don't see Lex Luthor being yeah, I'm crushing it. I don't know. I feel
yeah, you're right. There's a lot to be done with a Kryptonian heart like that. And
I think it's extremely hard to actually crush it too.
That's also a good point.
I also think I don't know exactly if heart's internal organs are different than skin, but I think that kryptonite won't affect it if he stabbed it with a kryptonite knife.
That's all. Yeah, I mean, we're in uncharted waters because I don't know. We've never dealt with inside body parts of Kryptonians before.
Yeah, and that was my other question. So, his mom said that he can't regrow organs. Is that a comic thing? Is that just a show? Actually, I'm not super familiar with what the extent of Superman's healing factor, but I feel like he can kind of,
he can't I think it has been said in the comics that he can't actually regrow organs, but he can heal the organ if
Right.
it's in this body.
Right. So like if he got stabbed through the heart,
Yeah.
he'd be okay.
Yes.
But the fact that his heart is ripped out of his body,
It's gone. Yeah.
That's
It has
a different
it has
story.
nothing that no other substance of his own body to
Sure.
heal the heart to make it beat again.
Right.
But again, it's so strange that it's still going outside of the body. Like, that's crazy.
I have a theory too. This is going to be like we've already seen it in play since season 1. Can you guess what it is? This is going to be fun. It's been mentioned in season 1. It's been used in season 1.
I don't know. Oh gosh, the like the metahuman things, right?
Nope.
Is that what you're talking about? Not the
Nope,
metahuman.
not the kryptonite gold crystals or whatever.
Yeah, like the kids or whatever.
No, not like that.
What are you talking about, bud?
It's an actual tech. It's called the Eradicator.
That would be nice if he came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually in the comics he came back through that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think they're going to regenerate his heart with that.
Interesting.
Not the actual character, but what they use.
They
use
use
the actual the Eradicator machine.
Gotcha.
They use the Eradicator machine to bring him back. Yes.
Gotcha. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I think
Possible.
there's definitely a lot of theories at the moment. Like I think the Doomsday theory makes a lot of sense. Like, we were talking about at the after party earlier. Like will there be a plot line where Lois kind of tries to turn over Doomsday? Is there anything left of Doomsday at this point? Because it's like, I don't know. Like, to me, he just kind of comes across as like a ravaged beast. Like, is there any part of that old
Can you
person
turn
in
him
him?
back
opportunity,
into?
by the way,
Yeah.
for that is actually they should have like had like a little like montage of what doesn't kill you makes you strong. that should have been the montage of that.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that I thought that actually kind of brought up though, if they do use Doomsday's heart to heal Superman, does he then get that healing factor from Doomsday that he can just he just gets stronger the more he gets damaged?
Did they explain why that happens to him? Did they explain why Clark can't do that and he can, or did I just forget it?
What are you talking about? So I can try.
The Bizarro thing. Why can Bizarro do that and not Clark?
Yeah.
Is it just because
what power are you talking about?
Just the fact that he turned into Doomsday,
every time you
and then
kill
keep
him,
coming
he gets
back,
stronger.
die and
Yeah.
come back, die and come back, but stronger.
I think it's only for him. There is a Bizarro Doomsday in the comics.
Yeah.
I
was just wondering why. Why him out of all?
I think it's because in the reverse.
Maybe.
He's a reverse of Superman. So Superman gets stronger with the sun, but he gets stronger by dying.
Okay. So. I wasn't sure if there was an on-screen definition, if they explained it, or we're just kind of speculating or whatever.
Speaking of the heart, I think it's in the wrong place. If you think about it, he would have a different anatomy in the reverse of Superman. So where Superman's heart would be the opposite side.
Yeah.
So he would have to basically become the reverse Superman of Superman to be healed if he were to do that.
Potentially, yeah. I guess
starting to look like that in a way, because they're talking about revealing his identity to the world, and Bizarro had that problem on his world, and it's starting to come. Jordan screwed up. It's starting to happen in this world too. So it's kind of like it's becoming the reverse.
I really appreciated the dynamics of Jordan and Jonathan in this episode. I think their different approaches to the situation was very fun. I think
Yeah.
like Jordan's obviously not in a great place. Like he's like, well, we just got to get him back. We got like he's kind of in his freak out mode. I think because I think where we kind of left him was like we called this last season where like what will Jordan do now that he's the only hero around, especially where Clark left him. Like Jordan was left in a space where he messed up. Like he was grounded. He couldn't use his powers for a while. Clark is overall kind of a little disappointed in Jordan how he was using his powers. So he was left in a spot where like, well, I didn't do so well in the past. How do I do now? And I think Jonathan's kind of like the backbone of the family at the moment. Like he's like, well, Mom's not going to recover from this. I don't think Jordan's going to recover from this. I'm going to have to keep our family together.
Yeah, he's the one. He's the glue right now.
Yeah.
Like so if.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so like I would say, Lois is the heart of the family. Jonathan is like the glue, and then Jordan is just like, I don't know. I don't know. Jordan's the loose cannon, but like I think by the end of episode 2, he's kind of like, okay, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I have been a little too gung ho. Maybe, maybe I do need to take a step back. I thought it was actually. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say I think that could be very good for Jonathan because like he's been the character I feel like the writers sometimes don't know exactly what to do with. Like they try and introduce things for him, they try to give him storylines, but ultimately he sometimes gets forgotten about in the midst of the main plot lines and stuff because he doesn't have powers. And Lois is the main like I'm the human character kind of thing to put in situations. So I think with Clark being gone, I think this could put Jonathan in a very interesting spot this season, keeping us together, being the glue, like you said, and to see just kind of again that phone call. I think is going to be very interesting how our kids react to that, how we go about that.
Yeah,
they have to be traumatized too because seeing their dad's heart ripped out of his chest was mortifying.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like the actual, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts, the actual them finding the dead body of Clark got to me a lot more than I thought. Because I went and I was like, I know he's going to die. I'm typically like that, where if I know a character's going to die, I'm not as sad about it if it does. But those gosh dang compilations that Super and Lois does, they do it all the time, where a character will just see a compilation of their past and all the great lines and moments, and they get me every time. It's like, God damn it, it's so good.
Did you ever feel like when Doomsday threw his body, do you feel like it was iffy a bit? Like,
oh yeah, the CG was a little wonky there.
Yeah, because it felt like he didn't flow naturally. It felt like he just like dropped like a bag of like rocks.
There's a couple scenes that could have looked better.
Yeah, but I mean, the big thing that needed to look good looked good. The fight out in space and Doomsday looked great. Like, again, the fact that we got more like in-person Doomsday, and then, you got to see him with Lex a little bit later, when he gave him the heart and things like that. So,
yeah.
Low
budget network TV, it looked great, I thought.
I honestly didn't think we would see like him actually ripping out his heart, which was pretty gnarly. Because when he did the whole like after the heat vision and he goes boom boom, you see Doomsday like with his fist, and you actually see the heart pumping. It was kind of like that's dark. For 7. That's dark.
It's a bit gruesome for the show. And I think too is this was definitely a different version of Death of Superman. Like, beat for beat, it was the outline that you come to expect. Superman fights Doomsday. Everybody's scared for him and for what's gonna happen. Superman, this is the one battle he can't win. Doomsday gets the best of him. Superman dies, but it's usually a little bit more, if I'm not, mistaken, it's a little more public usually. Like this was a very self-contained death. It was the family and a couple of people in Smallville that just saw this big radioactive thing drop Superman off in the middle of the street without a heart. That was public, that.
Though. If you go back to 13, he goes to like 3 different cities.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying that. Yeah, the
They
fight
saw
was
the
public.
fight, yeah.
The fight was public, but the death. Like, think of the iconic comic book cover, like with him. Superman is dead. The cape's on the like the pole, and it's in the middle of Metropolis. With, Superman or with Lois holding Superman's dead body.
I think we're getting that next week because she hasn't put out the article yet. Like she was starting to do it, she hasn't done it yet. I think that's going to be a moment. I think we're going to see the news anchors. I think we're going to see the morning of Clark Kent or Superman. I'm sorry.
Title change. The title went from the death of Superman to a world without Superman.
Yeah.
Which one? This one?
Lois's article.
Lois's article.
Oh, I got you. I thought you meant the actual like episode title. I was like, wait, when?
No.
But
the one thing though I wish that we did get was the iconic comic cover scene, like at least like having Lois kind of hold his body and like maybe the cape kind of floated back down somehow, like even though that doesn't make sense.
Crisis though.
They did.
Yeah,
they did have that in Crisis. You're right.
Maybe they're like, we already did it once.
They foreshadowed. You could say they foreshadowed it too, because they had the death of Superman with the flag and the cape on the pole.
Yeah.
And Lois and crying over a dead Superman, which wasn't Tyler, by the way. Foreshadowing something that's going to happen 4 years later.
Yeah. But for all intents and purposes, this is not like knocking it or anything. I think it was done very well and done perfectly for the show. Again, I think it needed that smaller, more self-contained, more family-centric version of it, because we've not ever seen the death of Superman with the kids as well. Like, this is, brand new territory, and I think it was a nice little touch that the one Smallville guy came to Lana's office and was like, hey, I need to talk to you about something. He saw everything, but he was like, I know what Superman's done. I'm gonna, keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna chill on it. Like, it was nice to kind of see sort of the town rally around him in a way and kind of come together. Even though
that like Spider-Man 2 moment where like
exactly.
He's just a kid.
Speaking of that girl that saw the whole fight, I think people forget that she was actually the one where Jordan actually stopped a robber that was stealing something in the grocery store. She's the clerk.
Yeah.
She's the same clerk.
Yeah.
So she wasn't recast and she wasn't taking the place of Iron's daughter. So.
Right.
Yeah, I really appreciate Lana this episode. I saw a lot of people were like, oh, they should Lana didn't need to be here. Lana's arguably, besides Lois and the boys, the closest person to Clark in his life. Like, that's his best friend. She's known Clark the longest, and I very much appreciate her getting that moment of like, it doesn't hit her until the end of episode 2. She's like, Clark, she should come back, and then there's that really great moment where she's like, my best friend's dead. Like, I thought that was such a emotional moment.
Yeah,
right. She was holding on to that hope. It's like, okay, I know he's Superman. Like, he'll be fine. Stuff happens like this all the time. And then
I don't know.
Sarah was like, no, he's dead. Like, he's not coming back.
I don't know what it is, but every single time we have a death of Superman, just like the sheer will of Lois holding his face brings a waterworks to my eyes.
Yeah,
because we saw it in Smallville, we saw it in this show, and we saw it like in Batman v Superman.
Yeah, no, like that actual moment of like he's dead just destroyed me. Like, we had the Lois moment, like, oh my gosh, that's emotional. But then it's like, it's the boys, and I'd be like, no, don't come any closer. And just the screaming, their screaming is like, holy shit. Like, it was really emotional. And I think
their reaction was more, I would say, more traumatizing for me to see than adult crying over a body, because the emotional drag that it's their dad is 10 times worse than a citizen seeing the dead body. That's why I'm like, part of me was like, why isn't Sarah so sad? She's not even crying. what the?
Like,
Are
like,
you?
approximately. Yeah.
Do you have any
Yeah.
connection with them? Well, obviously she doesn't. But I'm like, why is she falling in her eyes? And I'm like,
Yeah, well, she doesn't even know fully what's happening yet. Like, even in that
Right.
moment, Lana doesn't fully know. She's like, something happening. I need to get the crowd out of here. Like,
Yeah.
which I think
It's
she
like,
did a pretty good
Lois is a
job, I
really
guess.
good. friend.
Superman is Lois's really good friend.
Which she is
They're-
technically, like to the world, it's
Yeah.
very well known that Lois and Superman are friends. Like they've had a dynamic since the very beginning. It's kind of weird. People never assume that they weren't a thing. It's very clear.
I thought,
But no, like,
Don't worry, it's
pretty
just
obvious.
Lois's really good friend. Her husband is Clark.
Yeah.
Mild-mannered reporter Clark. Superman is completely different. Don't look too far into it. Don't Photoshop Clark's glasses off. Like, don't worry about it. They're not the same person.
and I love that moment where she's like, you weren't supposed to be, like, I was supposed to be first. That's always how it
Yeah.
was supposed to go. Like, she probably thought she would never have to see her husband die. She would obviously be the one to go first. And
And it's a
Yeah.
great parallel to what Clark had to go through last season
yeah, it
with
is.
Lois, and she was knocking
was
on
on
death's
death
door the
row,
whole season, and Clark was like, how do I even deal with this? What's gonna
Mhm.
happen? But it was long and drawn out, and he kind of had time to prepare and things like that. But this was sudden, and
Yeah,
I think it
yeah.
also shows is like Lex even brought it up as like superheroing is a dangerous line of work.
Yeah.
Like it just any moment he could
That-
again have a fight that he just doesn't win.
If
Yeah.
you come at me, bro, come into with the intent to kill.
Yeah, and like shout out to Lois Lane, like Betsy as a performer and also the character. Like she's been through a lot. Like she's
Yeah.
gone through the miscarriage, she's gone through the chemo, she's gone through just in this first couple episodes. It's like she's still going through chemo. She just saw her husband die. She's now a single mother. She's trying to find her almost dead father. She's trying to figure out what's happened to Clark. She's on the defense with everything Lex is doing. It's like, what a badass character. Like they've done
Yeah.
such a good job at making a character without powers who's
Mhm.
married to two people around her with powers just as strong, and I think that's such a cool thing that they've done
Can
with
you
her.
actually imagine if Natalie was actually born? We would have a superwoman.
You completely cut out, buddy. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I was like, can you imagine if we actually had a Natalie? Instead of the miscarriage, we actually had Natalie
Mhm.
born. She would actually be a superwoman.
Yeah,
Because
Potentially, yeah.
if it was twins, one would get it, one wouldn't. But she was a single child, so
right.
most likely she would get it. Got it.
Right. I'm trying to
Yeah.
just like scan through my brain all of the plot lines
Yeah.
because there's so much that happened.
I know.
Thoughts on the Sam stuff this episode?
Oh,
We had
w-
the wrap up of all of that.
Yeah. Well, I was happy that my
As-
theory was confirmed.
Which was that again?
which was that he wasn't gonna die.
Okay, good.
So, and it pretty much happened the way that I thought. It was like, okay, Jordan comes in,
Yeah.
saves him last minute. Definitely kind of sad with the conversation between him and Gretchen was like, oh, he was happy for a minute, and then she just
Headbutt
flipped
to the
everything
back.
on its head. But I'm glad Sam's fine. He's
Mhm.
he's an OG. He needs to be good. I remember before we came into the season, right? Like there was some talk that he wasn't even going to be in the season.
He said he wasn't coming back. Yeah.
So I'm like whatever happened. I think I'm guessing it was the fact that we had such a long break. The writer's strike happened in between all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's why he came back,
Thank
and
goodness.
I'm hoping
He has
he'll.
3
That's the
episodes.
only reason why
Yeah.
your theory came true.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
we-
you're
yeah,
right.
because
In
we-
another, yeah,
And then another
you're right.
life.
In another life, we would have seen
would-
the back of him as he got shot, and that was that.
Yep. Through the heart and
You're
head.
completely right. Yeah, two to the head, one to the heart, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's frustrating because if this would have happened the season prior, we would have been good because they wrote him off in season 1. They wrote him off. They're like, well, he's going on vacation and he's like retiring from the DOD or whatever it was, and we're like, oh, okay, cool. Like if that would have happened then, he'd be like, cool, he's just on vacation or whatever. But they wrote him in such a spot last season where it's like, well, he's just dead. Like,
Yeah.
like, what do you do? I guess you could do a thing where, like, okay, John Henry Iron went to go save him, and that's all off screen or something like that, like a one-off comment where, like, oh wait, he found him, he's in whatever. But no, I did feel like the Gretchen stuff would have hit a little bit harder if we got to see their relationship a little bit. Like, it was mostly off screen last season, which I get. Like, they're like preemptively trying to do it, but like I wish we could have had that, like, a bit of bonding before the reveal to see how happy he was with her. Maybe we get to see like a scene last season with them on their first date or whatever, bond a little bit before she actually has to do the deed, and not do the deed. That sounds like something else, but like do the thing and kidnap her and whatever. I guess they did probably do the deed, but that's besides.
Speaking of Jordan, when he went to go save his grandpa, that throw to the building, I'm like, how do you walk away from that?
Yeah, how did Otis not die?
There's a scene in The Boys this last season that's kind of that exact thing. I don't know if you watched Taz, but there's a scene where
I'm not caught up.
There's a scene where one of the kid characters, he's doing a stunt and he has to fake throw someone. He throws them and he splatters into like 1,000 pieces, and it's just like, it's that same thing, but like the PG version of it, and then the
also
yeah.
It reminded me of Deadpool, where he grabbed the guy's motorcycle, like Leggy, and he went onto the board, and then after like 5 minutes, the Colossus goes, comes to Deadpool and goes, "That guy was up there before we got here."
Yeah. I mean, anything else we kind of want to bring up? Obviously, there's so much we haven't mentioned.
Did you talk?
We're heading into the 2-hour mark, so is there anything else we want to kind of mention?
Did you talk about Brainiac yet?
I was about to say that was my question.
All right, let's talk about Brainiac. Let's do it.
Darren, share your Brainiac theory, because you were the first one that I saw that posted this on Twitter.
I do think I actually might be the first one to have shared it, because okay, so like obviously we know Tom Cavanaugh is in one of the final episodes of the season on Superman Lois. We've known that for a while. They've said that there's a mystery character that they weren't sure they were allowed to use, but then they were. Like, they said they're going to name drop it early on. They name dropped the name Brainiac in this episode, which I missed. I missed on first view.
2, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you catch the second one?
Who's the second one?
Milton. Do you know?
Which is Brainiac, yeah.
Yeah, Milton Fine is Brainiac.
Thank you, good sir.
So, okay. So, do we think we're actually doing Brainiac, or do we think it's more of like an Easter egg situation? Or like, oh, they said the name.
Yeah. So, okay, I saw a quote from from a TV Line article, right? Like you were saying. So I pulled it up. They were talking about there's a character that they're going to name drop that's going to be referenced early on in the final season. You hear the name drop, then you start hearing the name drop more, and then eventually you see that person.
Yeah.
Well, at least, and then the end of that quote was, well, at least that's one mystery solved. So I'm thinking, they said Brainiac. If they say Brainiac again, we're pretty much, a shoo-in to actually see him. And then if we do see him,
I think it's pretty awesome too, because if Tom Cavanaugh is actually Brainiac, it's a nice parallel to the smartest person alive, which is Harrison Wells. So to have him as Brainiac, it's not far fetched, because he's the smartest person.
It would be kind of fitting that the last Arrowverse show had Tom Cavanaugh as the main villain. Like, that would be a pretty cool thing. And like I've even said with like Lex being the main villain, like I he could obviously do it well, but does he have enough like longevity to be the main villain for the entire season? Like, is there enough story with him this season to hold that throughout the entirety, or do you introduce someone else?
I certainly think Lex can hold down the whole season, especially Michael Cudlitz's Lex. I think he 100% can hold down the whole season, and I think he will. I think, big bad battle. Flash forward to episode 10, I think it's Superman versus Lex in the Lexo suit that's hopefully got the green and purple design with the big old L for it for Luthor on the chest and everything like that.
Sure.
Brainiac, I think, is going to be relegated towards maybe one step above a cameo.
Sure.
Like, we know he exists. I think it's going to be kind of one of those and the story continues kind of thing.
Mm.
What
Maybe
if
they
they-
would have had more plans for him if the show were to have gone
I think the Brainiacs
on.
was in the plans for sure. Yeah.
But then maybe they can kind of do something crazy, is like give us like a big cliffhanger, but not like a, oh my god, I want to see what happens next kind of cliffhanger, but like, oh, okay.
An
like,
Incredibles
that's
1
where
it's like,
right.
the Underminer, and then they cut.
Right.
kind of thing.
Oh, that
What-
actually, that'd be so cool. So Brainiac comes out, like, he's like, all right, I'm gonna bottle up the planet or whatever. And then so you've got Superman, new
That
suit,
would-
Superboy, new suit, Steel, Eradicator.
The cape. I
yeah.
give him the cape.
Yeah, Steel with the cape, Eradicator, and then again, I've had this theory for a while too. Maybe just throw him a bone, give Jonathan powers by the end of it. Maybe like the stress of what's going on finally unlocks his powers somehow, or like
That would
Lex is
be-
about to kill him or something, and his powers like unlock. Right.
That would be crazy.
So Super
Uh,
Family. And then there's been I'm sorry, I'm going off on a whole tangent here.
Right.
And there's been
Show it, do
there's been some comic pages going around too of the new Superman comic where Lois is in a suit as well and she's got powers. So I don't know, just for fun, like even if it's a dream sequence, like make them the Incredibles. I don't care. Like that'd be fun. That'd
It'd
be
be
fun.
kind of crazy if the last scene of the entire show is Tom Cavanaugh as Brainiac holding a globe and goes, "The Arrowverse is ended," and then crushes it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know that also might be what they mean in terms of like, because a thing came out last night that said the ending will honor the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
I was like,
And there'd be like a
what
bunch
does
of
that
Easter eggs and stuff. Yeah.
so that could just mean Tom Cavanaugh. That could just mean like, well, like Tom Cavanaugh, he's from the Arrowverse. Again, it would be very fitting if he was the final big bad or whatever it was.
It'll
I
be
hope-
something like, I've fought bats and speedsters and guys with bows and arrows and
The one
that Diggle guy. I think I've seen him before too. But
It'll be something about speed, where it's like,
Yeah.
you're fast, Superman, but I fought fast people before, or something
Yeah.
like that. It's like,
Yeah.
I kind of
It's
want
like, hey,
that
but-
like to be like I kind of actually it would be nice if they throw like a secret cameo that we don't know about and will probably like it's been shot indoors, to where I kind of want Grant Gustin to just show up like as the Flash and save Superman's butt by going back in time and stopping Doomsday from.
He's busy on Broadway. He don't
Yeah.
got no time for that no more.
That's the
unfortunately.
beauty of it. Like have like a secret like cameo of, you don't even have to have Grant Gustin there. As you remember on Arrow, he passed it a note to Singh saying he's legit.
I think we might have to give up on that one.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
maybe it's a hot take, but they've been so separate from everything at this point. Like I don't need Green Arrow to show up. I don't need Flash to
Yeah.
show up. If Supergirl showed up, I'd be happy with that, but I don't need that either, really.
The thing
you know.
is they've already name dropped him too. Like Oliver Queen died. There's
Yeah, on this earth. So
on this earth, but how? Why? He's not the same. There's so many questions.
It's here's the thing.
Is he
like
Bruce
that,
Wayne?
like
Is this
that
Oliver Queen
situation.
comic? Go ahead.
That situation was tough. Like, I've gone through the mourning process with Superman Lois not being connected
Yeah.
anymore. Like, we've gone through it. We've talked about that
Yeah.
on here so much Taz. But like, I'm at a point where like you made that decision, and I'd rather you lay in that bed. Like, I'd rather
Yeah.
you be like, all right, we have a new Jimmy Olsen coming. We got a new Lex coming. If you want to do Supergirl, cast someone else for Supergirl. Like, just kind of commit to it. The only kind of way I'd be kind of okay with it if you kind of have like a Stargirl-esque ending where it's like there's a portal opens up being like, hey, come on, we have a mission. We need you for this mission. And it's like, okay, it's part of its own world, but you can, it teases future crossovers that we won't see kind of thing. Like, that's...
if Jensen Ackles Batman from the Gotham Knights universe shows up and says, "Hey, We gotta
have
go
a-
save the We gotta go save the Gotham Knights.
Listen, Taz, since your disappearance on these platforms, I've been the only one defending Gotham Knights. I've been like, listen, guys, it's not so bad.
What
Listen,
if,
and
what if Brandon Ralph's Superman comes through, the portal that he said I couldn't save anyone? What if that was the Earth that gets wiped out? Like, he literally goes to like, hey, like we need your help, and then just the wave of red matter just wipes them out.
which is what, the like Superman and Lois Earth or what?
Yeah, Superman and Lois is there.
No, what? Don't kill off our character.
Or I have like another one where the
Oh, no.
final ending is actually a pod that comes to Earth, and it's actually Supergirl.
Okay,
But we
maybe.
never see her face.
No, it's an infinite loop. So Superman actually, so the way they bring him back is they actually have to synthesize him as a baby. So he comes back as a baby. Lex does something to the planet, it's dying, and then they send him to another planet, and the whole thing starts all over again.
It's Smallville.
Yes,
What?
they send him to Smallville's Earth.
Tyler Hoechlin is Tom Welling. What a twist.
Confirmed.
What
No,
if
they send him to
actually
another
get-
Earth, and then he grows up as Bruce Wayne's best friend, and they're buddies in school, and they bring back Gotham Bruce, and yeah, that's how it ends.
What if our secret cameo is actually Tyler Posey as the Flash?
I don't know who that is.
Tyler Posey is from Teen Wolf, another show that Tyler Hoechlin was on.
Oh, gotcha. Well, see you guys later. No. Taz, do you have any kind of final thoughts that you want to kind of wrap up on?
I know I said a lot of crazy dumb theories, but I think
You're not
overall,
serious, people.
getting serious, most likely thing is either maybe Brainiac cloned the heart, or they're gonna take Doomsday's heart, and maybe that's how Brainiac's played into it. Like, I don't know, maybe they somehow convince him to save Superman. Like, maybe he's not like a full-on evil Brainiac. Like, they say Brainiac, but which Brainiac?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of Brainiacs as well. So who knows? On that front, I think we're gonna see Jordan as Superboy continue to come into his own. I hope we get a real good reign of the Supermen. I'm excited to see John Henry and Natalie come back next week, and I'm just excited to be along for the ride. We got 8 more episodes, and from what everybody has said, we are not going to be disappointed with this season. I was not disappointed with these first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
It was a long wait, but boy, was it worth the wait.
Yeah, it's just good to be back. I'm sad that it gets to come back and that's gonna immediately leave after these next 2 months. But nonetheless, it's such a great feeling to have the CW shows back. Like watching the ads for all the other shows on the CW is like, what a depressing lineup.
Oh my god, dude, I was like, what? Like you're promoting NASCAR, you're promoting like these
Scrabble
weird shows. Yeah,
Scrabble broke my heart.
I'm like, dude, can I just get a trailer that says, on the next episode of Riverdale, Archie fights a bear and tells everybody about his abs.
Yeah.
Only on the CW.
Yeah, say what you want about River, or say what you want about like the CW lineup, but like they had heart. They were trying. Like as stupid as it maybe sometimes got, they were putting out stuff. They were trying. They were doing new things, and now it's just like corporate Scrabble and NASCAR and wrestling, and it's like but
like
what,
cool
what
stuff.
No
but
longer
like
CW.
I'll watch like ESPN for that. Like
it's sad. I miss
the
only thing they have on right now is like they had the Joan, the trailer for the new Joan. It's like, all right, I guess, but apparently got moved anyway, and it's like not even officially CW, and it's like,
I still think like this is the last CW show. I think like for me like CW died when Nexstar took over.
I'm deleting that app as soon as the season.
Yeah, I mean, there's no
Dare
reason
to
to
Defy
go
went
back
out the
to it
window.
afterwards.
Yeah, I think like I don't watch it, but like All American's still running, but like they got rid of their whole cast at this point, so like that's basically like a new show. Wild Cards is on, I guess, but like who gives a shit?
It's
Lance, I guess.
crazy to think like 2-3 years ago, just like where we were versus where we are now. Like, who could have predicted that just the fall from grace? Somebody needs to make a video essay, like, the rise and fall of the CW.
What's funny is now the hate is legit. When people were trying to diss like Suits because they look CW and like it's a CW show and all these other things, I'm like, that didn't matter until now. Now we don't give a shit that you want to diss it, because they ruined our 23 years of enjoyment.
Yeah. there definitely needs to be like a documentary at some point though, because like it is a very fascinating, just everything that's happened in this universe, just like the through Smallville, through now, just the crazy stories that transpired to get to this point is insane.
Bittersweet.
All right, which studio is going to give me a low budget of $25 million to make the budget on the rise and fall of the CW? It'll be a nice little 90-minute documentary we can split into 3 episodes on Netflix. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Just for Warner Brothers to scrap it as soon as it's made.
It's bittersweet too, because like it started with Superman and it's ending with Superman.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
But with that being said, that's gonna be all for us this week. We'll be back at some point. We're gonna have a conversation about when we're gonna do these streams, because we're very excited. But time zone's weird, and I didn't like starting while Party Nation was going on. I felt very weird about it. I was like, we don't have choice this week though, because of our scheduling. But Taz, where can people find you?
People can find me here on YouTube at Toxic Taz, on Twitter at Toxic_Taz, and over on Instagram at Toxic Taz. Be on the lookout for my episode breakdown on YouTube later this week.
Absolutely. And 3Dubs, where can people find you?
3Dub Studios, here all week.
Find them there. Join us. I'll do a community post once I kind of talk with Taz and Darth about when's a good time for us, when kind of we can do that. Check out the pipeline. We do the pipeline every Thursday. This week we're going to be talking about Joker Falayadu, if that's how you say it, this Thursday. So check me out there. Check out all these crazy kids' content. Check out Darth. He has his own channel as well. He does live streams over there, and he does a lot of Star Wars content over there. Go check him out. He was here earlier. Thank you to everyone who popped in, chatted. Shout out to Party Nation for just rating my live stream. That was fun. That was kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But without further ado, everybody, we will see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.